We are counting down the 9 UK tea brands you need to know, starting with those that set the gold standard for purity and progressing to the 6 you should never brew in your cup. From hidden microplastics and banned pesticides to cost-cutting fillers lurking in everyday blends, each entry is ranked by independent lab results, ingredient transparency, and real-world safety. Which brand tops the clean list and which delivers the highest risk? Let us begin with number 9. Teapig stands out for what it leaves out as much as what it puts in. Every sachet is filled with 100% whole tea leaves, never dust, never fannings, and never fillers. The mesh bag itself is made from cornstarch-based PLA, a plant-derived material designed to break down in industrial composting, not linger in landfill or leach synthetic fibers into your cup. Unlike traditional petroleum plastics, PLA comes from renewable crops and carries none of the chemical baggage found in conventional bag seals. Teapig publishes clear information about its materials and sourcing, and is certified as a B Corp, which requires public accountability for ethical practices. While not every blend is organic, the brand maintains traceable, small-batch supply chains, and its commitment to real, unprocessed leaf is evident in the final brew. Blind taste panels consistently rate Teapig among the highest for clarity of flavor and absence of bitterness, with enthusiasts and experts alike praising the natural aroma and clean finish. For UK tea drinkers seeking a benchmark of purity, free from hidden plastics, additives, or industrial shortcuts, Teapig sets a reassuring standard. This is the kind of tea that lets the drinker focus on taste, not worry about what's lurking unseen. Clipper Tea became the first major UK brand to patent a plastic-free tea bag, setting a new standard for what is possible in mainstream production. The company's bags are made from unbleached, non-genetically modified natural fibers, sealed with a thin layer of plant-based PLA instead of petroleum-derived plastics. This approach is documented in both patent filings and independent packaging audits, confirming that no polypropylene or nylon is present in the structure or seam. Clipper's technical team spent years developing this method, overcoming the challenge of creating a heat-sealable, compostable bag that could withstand industrial packing lines. The result is a bag that breaks down safely in industrial compost, leaving no synthetic residue behind. Regular fair trade audits cover the brand's core lines, adding another layer of transparency. Sensory panels report a clean, natural aftertaste, free from the synthetic notes found in many mass-market teas. Clipper's move proved that plastic-free technology is feasible even at scale, and their patent is now referenced by competitors and environmental campaigners alike. For consumers, this means a cup of tea without the worry of microplastics or artificial aftertaste. Clipper's innovation stands in sharp contrast to the brands that continue to rely on plastic-reinforced bags, reinforcing its place among the cleanest choices available in UK supermarkets. Pukka Herbs stands apart on UK shelves for one simple reason. Every box carries the Soil Association organic seal, a guarantee that no chemical pesticides or artificial additives ever touch the leaves. This certification is not handed out lightly. Each year, independent inspectors visit Pukka's partner farms, checking soil health, water sources, and crop management against strict organic standards. Only teas that pass these checks make it into Pukka's signature compostable envelopes, which are made entirely from plant-based materials and certified to break down fully in industrial compost, leaving behind no plastic, no synthetic residue, and no hidden contaminants. Ingredient lists are transparent, naming every herb, flower, or tea leaf by origin, with nothing masked under vague flavoring or natural essence. Pukka's blends rely on whole leaves and botanicals, not dust or fannings, preserving the full spectrum of antioxidants and aromatic oils. Sensory panels consistently score Pukka's teas high for complexity and clarity. Herbal blends like 3 Mint and Supreme Matcha Green are praised for layers of taste and a clean, lingering finish. For shoppers, the Soil Association logo offers a clear signal. This is a cup free from the risks that come with industrial farming and plastic packaging. While Pukka's range leans toward herbal and green teas, and prices run higher than mass-market brands, the assurance of chemical-free farming and truly compostable packs offers peace of mind. In a market clouded by confusing claims, Pukka's organic certification stands as a practical guide for anyone seeking purity and transparency in their daily brew. Supermarket economy tea bags, those value lines from Asda, Tesco and Sainsbury's, are among the most widely poured in British homes, but independent lab screens have raised serious questions about what is actually inside. Multi-residue analysis from 2023 found that these budget teas contained as many as 3 times the pesticide levels detected in certified organic blends. While most residues stayed just under the UK's legal limits, the margin was slim and the range of chemicals present was broader than in any premium or clean brand tested. Testimony from factory staff and supply chain insiders offers a rare look behind the curtain. Several described how the lowest grade tea dust, sometimes swept from production floors and rebagged for export, ends up in supermarket value packs. Investigative journalists have published photographic evidence of this practice, showing piles of leftover dust and sweepings destined for the economy line contracts. The result is a product with little resemblance to whole leaf tea, flat, bitter, and lacking aroma. Blind taste panels consistently gave these teas the lowest scores for both flavour and scent, with some panelists unable to detect any real tea aroma at all. To keep costs down, supermarkets often reinforce their bags with plastic fibres, especially when packing fragile dust. While this avoids the worst-case microplastic release seen in some premium brands, it does nothing to improve the tea's purity or taste. For shoppers drawn by the lowest shelf price, the hidden cost is exposure to higher chemical residues and a cup that is more about volume than quality. This is the reality behind the bargain box, one that rarely appears on the packaging but is confirmed in the lab and on the factory floor. Typhoo has long been a fixture on British supermarket shelves, but recent scrutiny has exposed cracks in its reputation for consistency and safety. In 2021, the company faced a wave of consumer complaints about tainted taste and off-notes in certain batches, prompting retailers to quietly pull affected stock from shelves. While no official nationwide recall was recorded in Food Standards Agency archives, industry insiders and supply chain partners confirmed that select products were withdrawn due to concerns over packaging hygiene and possible contamination during factory operations. The lack of a formal public notice left many regular buyers in the dark about what had gone wrong. Beyond the contamination scare, Typhoo's quality assurance record is further complicated by reports of unpredictable caffeine content. Analytical screens using high-performance liquid chromatography on supermarket teas have shown that caffeine levels in Typhoo bags can swing widely, sometimes more than double between batches. For sensitive drinkers, this means a morning cup could deliver anything from a mild lift to a jolt strong enough to cause jitters or heart palpitations. The company does not publish batch-by-batch caffeine data, and no UK regulator requires them to do so, leaving consumers with little way to anticipate the strength of their brew. Complaints about stale or flat-tasting Typhoo tea are common, especially for value lines. Warehouse holding times can stretch for months, with some batches sitting in distribution centres long enough to lose their aroma and develop a bitter edge. Internal sourcing documents and ex-factory staff accounts have also described the use of cheap filler material to bulk out low-cost blends, further eroding the quality that once set Typhoo apart. While no evidence points to polymer or microplastic contamination, as with some competitors, the combination of inconsistent caffeine, freshness issues, and lapses in production oversight raises serious questions about what ends up in the cup. Twinings has spent centuries building an image of refined British tea, yet a closer look at their everyday and value blends reveals a different story. Ingredient lists on these boxes quietly list flavourings, a catch-all term that covers synthetic additives used to mask the taste of low-grade leaf. Laboratory audits and packaging close-ups confirm that these cheaper Twinings lines rely on ultrafine tea dust, a byproduct sifted from the bottom of the sorting process. Under a microscope, these particles appear more like powder than leaf, lacking the structure and aroma that define quality tea. This dust brews in seconds, but the resulting cup is often harsh, flat, and bitter. Sensory panels consistently rate it among the lowest for both taste and aroma. Beyond the tea itself, independent testing has detected traces of synthetic fibres in the bag material, particularly in heat-sealed varieties. Nylon and similar polymers are used to hold seams together, a shortcut that keeps costs down but introduces the potential for plastic fragments to enter the brew. While Twinings has phased out some plastics in their premium lines, everyday and value bags still show evidence of these fibers under FTIR and microscopy analysis. The company's marketing leans heavily on tradition and heritage, but the reality inside the value box is far removed from the slow-curing, whole-leaf blends that built the brand's reputation. For shoppers drawn by the Twinings name, the presence of additives and dust-grade tea in these blends represents a stark contrast to the expectations set by their flagship products. This gap between image and content is rarely acknowledged on the supermarket shelf, but becomes clear when the label is read and the bag is examined under scientific scrutiny. Yorkshire Tea's standard blends have become a staple in British kitchens. Their branding is wrapped in images of rolling hills and local heritage, but the reality behind the bag tells a different story, one that begins far from Yorkshire's fields. The bulk of leaves in these blends are sourced from large-scale plantations in Africa and India, where intensive farming practices are the norm. Sourcing audits and import records show that the majority of Yorkshire Tea's black tea comes from estates with a well-documented reliance on chemical pesticides for yield and pest control. Lab results from 2022 and 2023, including independent screens by Which and Eurofins, detected traces of glyphosate in multiple batches of Yorkshire Tea standard blend. Glyphosate, a widely used herbicide, is permitted under UK law within certain limits, but the same samples would not have passed stricter EU organic standards. The most recent LC-MSMS analysis found glyphosate residues in both dry leaf and brewed infusion, confirming that some of the chemical does make its way into the final cup. While the detected levels stayed just below the UK's maximum residue limit, the presence of any glyphosate in a daily beverage raises questions for consumers seeking a truly clean brew. The issue is compounded by the brand's approach to processing. Yorkshire Tea relies on machine-accelerated oxidation, a method designed to rapidly turn out large volumes of tea. This shortcut strips away some of the antioxidants and subtle flavors found in slow-cured artisan teas, leaving a cup that is bold but less nuanced. Sensory panels describe the taste as robust but lacking complexity, with a tendency toward flatness after the first sip. Packaging analysis reveals that while premium Yorkshire lines had begun to phase out plastics, standard blends may still include small amounts of plastic fiber reinforcement in the bag structure. This is not on the same scale as the microplastic release seen in some other brands, but it does mean that these bags are not fully compostable at home. For a tea that markets itself on British tradition and purity, the gap between image and reality is stark, especially when chemical residues and industrial shortcuts are confirmed in the lab. Tetley's place on British shelves is built on scale, not selectivity. In the rush to supply millions of cups each day, Tetley relies on dust-grade fannings, the smallest, lowest-value fragments left after higher grades are sorted for premium blends. Under the microscope, these particles look nothing like a tea leaf. They are fine, broken, and prone to rapid oxidation, which means they go stale quickly and lose much of their natural aroma before they reach the box. The cost-driven approach does not stop at the tea itself. Tetley's bag construction often uses thermoplastic seals, a shortcut designed for high-speed packing. When boiling water hits these seams, laboratory imaging has confirmed the release of plastic fragments, tiny, often invisible, but present in every cup brewed at household temperatures. Recent UK lab tests using optical and electron microscopy found consistent shedding of micro-sized particles from Tetley bags, especially when agitated in freshly boiled water. While the company has made public statements about moving toward greener materials, independent analysis of retail samples as late as 2023 still detected thermoplastic content in mass-market Tetley bags. The sensory consequences are just as hard to ignore. Blind taste panels repeatedly score Tetley's black teas at the bottom for bitterness and metallic aftertaste. Certified tea tasters describe a cup that is harsh on the palate with a lingering industrial note, far removed from the clean, layered profiles found in higher-grade or whole-leaf teas. These results are echoed in consumer feedback, especially among shoppers who buy Tetley for its low price in discount chains and supermarkets, where volume and shelf presence matter more than flavor or purity. The combination of dust-grade leaf and plastic fragment exposure places Tetley among the riskiest choices for UK tea drinkers. While not the absolute worst for microplastic load, the evidence from lab benches and sensory tables points to a product shaped by cost and convenience, not by care for what ends up in the cup. PG Tips claims the #1 spot for avoidable microplastics exposure, not by speculation, but by hard laboratory proof. Multiple independent labs, including the University of Plymouth and Eurofins, have confirmed that PG Tips pyramid bags shed polypropylene fragments when steeped in boiling water. FTIR and Raman spectroscopy leave no ambiguity. The polymer fingerprint of particles found in brewed tea matches exactly the polypropylene used to seal and shape the bag. Both the spent bag and the tea liquor consistently show microplastic fragments, with counts higher than any other mainstream brand tested under identical conditions. A single cup of PG Tips can contain dozens of microplastic particles, some visible under a microscope and others too small to detect without specialized equipment. This is not a rare glitch in production. Polypropylene is intentionally used to maintain the pyramid structure and seal the bag, resisting breakdown even at high temperatures. When hot water is poured, the plastic fragments releasing microplastics directly into the drink. These findings have been corroborated by consumer watchdogs and academic researchers using validated, reproducible methods. Health authorities have not established a safe threshold for microplastics in food or drink, but early laboratory studies suggest possible risks to gut health and inflammation. Professor Richard Thompson, a leading microplastics researcher at the University of Plymouth, says that their analysis confirms polypropylene and PLA particles present in UK pyramid tea bags, and that exposure increases markedly in hot water. He adds that the long-term health risks of repeated low-level ingestion remain unclear, but lower exposure is advisable. PG Tips' record on chemical residues adds another layer of concern. Independent screens by Which and commercial laboratories have detected traces of pesticides in several batches over the past 5 years. While these levels typically fall within UK legal limits, the brand's reliance on large-scale industrially farmed tea leaves increases the risk of residue carryover. The production process uses accelerated fermentation to boost output, which strips away antioxidants and much of the subtlety found in slow-cured teas. The result is a cup that falls short on both purity and quality. With confirmed microplastic release, a history of pesticide detections, and diminished antioxidant content, PG Tips stands as the clearest warning of what can go wrong when cost and convenience take precedence over safety. Across all 9 brands, one truth emerges. Purity is no longer guaranteed in the UK's national drink. Microplastics, pesticides, and chemical shortcuts now lurk in millions of daily brews. The real risk is not what is obvious, it is what is hidden in your cup. Choosing clean tea is not just about taste, it is about protecting health at the heart of British tradition. Check your cupboard. Your next brew matters.